We're just about 7 minutes here until the opening bell. We're watching shares of Oracle here ahead of the opening bell. You're looking at losses of just about 10%. The company out with revenue that disappointed the street's expectations. Also, its guidance coming in lower than expected. Madison Mills here to break this all down. And Maddie, this is quite a reaction here ahead of the open.
Yeah, they missed expectations last quarter and again this quarter. So the street is not going to be happy about that double negative there. Specifically, I spoke with Angelo Zeno from CFRA this morning. He said that the cloud infrastructure business numbers are what were really disappointing here. The cloud business growing 52%. That was below the street's expectation of 55%. And again, a double quarter miss there is going to be disappointing. Having said that, this is a potential growth story, and that's why we are seeing a little bit more of a hold rather than an actual outright sell on this name. We're seeing 40% hold on the street, 50% buy rating on this name here. And that's because there is a lot of CapEx going into the cloud infrastructure business right now and to data centers as well. Some of that is weighing on the top line numbers that we saw in those earnings yesterday, that CapEx decreasing the overall revenue picture for this name. And that's why the street is having a little bit of hesitation here. When I spoke with Angelo, he said that the street is saying that we just wish we could fast forward to 3 years from now when the legacy business isn't weighing on Oracle as much and they're able to kind of become a bigger growth story in the overall cloud space. And the street just doesn't like to be patient on any names, but particularly in the cloud space right now.
Yeah, certainly. Talking about the bookings and the CapEx and that relation, expecting CapEx to be somewhere around $8 billion this fiscal year and really putting that back towards the building out of capacity for bookings and the customers that they do have. How do these results, though, compare to other big players in the cloud space that we've heard from?
Yeah, so they only take up 2% of the overall cloud market share. So that's not a big number, right? And especially when you're looking at Microsoft and Amazon in comparison. And if we look at the year-to-date charts for those other names, you can see that Amazon, Microsoft, definitely outpacing Oracle. That's that purple and orange bar on your screen there. Oracle is that blue coming in below those other two names. So seeing outperformance in those other big cloud players in the space. But again, as I mentioned, there is this belief that if Oracle can decrease that CapEx, if they can start to become a bigger AI player, which they already have teased out, and they are starting to grow that cloud infrastructure business, that they will be able to compete on the same stage as those other players, particularly because this is a story about demand and cloud services, which is not going away anytime soon. There's enough room for multiple players in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we think about Oracle and the amount of different services that they offer to this portfolio client base, is it expected that AI is going to have the same type of delta for them that it does for companies that have talked about the co-pilots like Microsoft, companies like Salesforce that had their AI day earlier this year even?
Yeah, I mean, it is the thing that companies can mention if they want to get a boost, particularly if they do have bad news in the rest of their earnings call. If you can get an AI word count
Just focus on the AI, folks.
Right? I mean, what was the company Kroger last year that had 9 AI mentions in a relatively negative earnings call? So it's definitely something that they can point to. But it is true that the AI story for them can lead to a broader revenue mix. And that's what Angelo told me this morning, too, that the street is really looking for, particularly as we don't know what the macro picture is going to look like. So if you can broaden out that revenue growth, get a bigger revenue pie for these companies like Oracle, and throw in a little cherry on top of AI, that's going to be a good sign for the company moving forward.
So you're telling me I should have just dropped more AI mentions when I was trying to hit word counts in college. That's
always
perhaps what I could have done.
And you could have had ChatGPT write the essays for you, by the way. Let's not forget that.
Look, I'm not a cheater here. I just want to hit the word count.
I would have done it.
Just saying. I'm trying to meet whatever the expectations are. You're not trying to
exactly
beat around the whole bush. Yeah, there you go.
Maddie, appreciate it. Thanks so much for putting that down for us.